following Willie more and more. Back in the NRL, there's Willie Mason.
I've forgotten how big Willie actually is.
Perhaps the presence of Willie had the Panthers looking at his imposing frame.
I'm a 25-minute man. Oh, you got skill, son.
Uppercut right hand by Big Willie.
Too fancy for you.
Welcome to episode, 21?
Damn.
21.
So it's round 23, right? It's because we missed two.
Why do you keep bringing up we missed two? Like it's
Well, you missed two.
you missed one of them. It's your fault. You're the one with the
in
job.
Broken Hill, man. There's no reception in Broken Hill. You know that.
You're the one with the job. I just do nothing. So welcome to everyone to listening to the show. It's been an interesting week. How's your week been? You've been quiet.
Pretty
this week.
good.
No travel.
Last week was pretty hectic, and when it gets like that in my life, I just want to chill out, stay at home with the family, and just relax and just decompress from everything because I think it's very important. And I've told Sonny and Willie Tonga and the guys that I do travel with, it is emotionally draining. You know, you got to deal. You know, going to these clinics, teaching kids, educating kids. You know, you got to, and it's not like you can go to another school and have a lesser energy or anything like that. You got to keep up the same sort of energy and stuff like that, and the right message, and keep it going. And it's hard because they do lean on you. A lot of questions, you've got a lot of everything. So just very important to come home, stay with your family, decompress, just to relax. And I've been doing a little bit with the dogs this week, and been pretty light. Just get back in the routine. Just back training at E-Lab and all that kind of stuff. Just getting back because when you're away, you're out of routine, aren't you? You're sleeping in a hotel bed. It's awful. You're way out of routine. I don't mind that lifestyle anyway, but like when you're playing, it's okay. But I'm 42 years old. You're retired. You sort of want that stability, but it is what it is. I love what I'm doing. It's very rewarding. I think our next trip is Burke.
Is it
out the back of Burke?
Yeah, right.
So
how good.
I asked Hef, the New South Wales boss, not the boss, like he's pretty much my boss. I said, "Where's Burke?" And you hear that Aussie slang, "Out the back of Burke." I'm like, "Fuck, it must be far away." He goes, "We're going to fly to Dubbo, which is an hour and a half." He goes, "Then we're going to drive to Burke." I'm like, "How far is the drive?" And he hesitated because I don't like driving that long. As 4 hours. I'm like,
"Is it
4 hours?" Because I don't know. Tell me, people, is there a closer airport to Burke?
I don't even know.
Burke is like,
I don't know where it is. I hear it.
Google map it. It's crazy. And we're going to go out there, Indigenous communities. So it'll be me, Sonny Bill, Jeff Hardy and Rennie Matua. So same sort of team that went out to Broken Hill because we all get along, good synergy. And so that'll be, that's probably on the 24th, 25th of August. So that's our next big trip. So next couple of weeks will be pretty cruisy. Just get back in the swing of things, doing the podcast and just living life, I suppose. Nothing crazy.
I got lost going to Mossman on Sunday. That's how good I'm going.
Did you cry? You get lost going to Zetland. Moore Park. You don't know where Moore Park is. After Moore Park, he's done.
I'd say it was funny. I was coaching footy a couple years ago now, and I went and picked a mate of mine up. He was playing for the side, and I went and picked him up in Maroubra. And we had to go back to Waterloo Oval, and I was driving back past my house because I didn't know how to get there from Maroubra. He goes, "Where are you going?" And I said, "I'm just going to Waterloo." He goes, "Why?" I said, "Shut up."
Anzac Parade.
Do you know what? Your little beard's getting a bit long.
Long?
Have I just not
sort
noticed
of trim it sometimes, like.
Needs a trim. What about my moustache?
What about yours? What are you talking about?
I know. Oh, just letting it flow. I'm going to twirl it soon too.
Yeah, you got to get that.
Yeah.
You could do the you're halfway between handlebars and just...
Well, I want it to be handlebars because then my wife will hate it so much.
Maybe a Hitler.
Got the right shirt on. All right. Well, one thing we do need to... obviously, we're pretty lighthearted on this show all the time, but that whole thing with Paul Green and I guess... what you can tell is how badly it's affected. I mean, the Cowboys were obviously super affected by it last week. It showed in the way Taumalolo spoke, the way that Jonathan Thurston spoke recently as well, and the way that the Cowboys performed. It was just, I think it's really put a spotlight on it in a way that has actually made people think about things. And I think that's a really positive thing. Nico Hines spoke really, really well after the Sharks game on the weekend, Will, and this can only be a good thing. If only one good thing can come from what's happened to Paul Green, if people start taking this a bit more seriously and it brings it into public consciousness a bit more, it's a good thing.
Yeah, it is. It's a sensitive subject, and just to see guys like Jonathan Thurston and Jason Taumalolo, who hardly does any media, the way he spoke so eloquently and he spoke so well, and it was from the heart. JT in tears. I spoke to JT the day after, and I knew that he was struggling a little bit because he was so close with Greeny. Just to see if he was all right, and we sort of. I'm 42 years old. I played the game for 17 years plus. JT, Sonny Bill, all that sort of crew. We're all retired. You know what I mean? So it's that the stigma of rugby league players being this. The outer shell is hard, and what you see on TV and everything like that. Everything's like supposed to be this tough man. It's the toughest game alive. Origin's the toughest. Australia's the toughest. We've got this real brute mentality where the perception of the general public just think we don't have any feelings. We just go out there and we just perform. We're like performers. We go home and it's fine. It's not like that. Other people, everyone's different. Every person is different. We're all built different. Like you ever look how Paul Green is on the surface. The last time I spoke to him, I gave him a hug and everything like that. And like he was just a super nice guy, and he's always been like that. So that's why it shocked the whole world, because no one expected it.
No.
And if positive things do come out of this, out of such a tragedy, where men can actually talk and communicate. And I think this next generation will be the generation to change that, because it only started when I sort of started. It was a bit more gone from that 80s, 90s hard man mentality. It's sort of, we evolved as humans and stuff like that, and a bit more sensitive, a bit more in touch with society, a bit more. Yeah, hey, it's just football. We're just good at football, but we're human beings at the very least, level, at the basis level, we are human beings. We just play on TV. We play a hard game, but doesn't mean that we don't have any mental issues or any mental disorders. We're human beings, first of all. Then we're rugby league players. We're family men. We've got all these other things. Don't just look at us like, that perception of the 80s and 90s, because we're all hard men and all that kind of stuff, mate. I know a lot of guys from the 80s and 90s that have committed suicide as well, man. You know what I mean? It's happening.
Yeah, for sure.
Like dementia, like all these other things and suicide. It's been happening for a long time. And I think maybe this is the line in the sand where a lot of people can just sit back and go, right, look, we've got to talk. You know what I mean? I'm always one of, you know what I'm like. I'm very like, just say the perception of me would be, I don't know what it is. Probably beautiful, young, gorgeous man. I think that's perception.
I feel like that's not
the perception.
Not the general perception.
Anyway, they probably think
it's my perception.
Just this real hard buff head footballer, blah blah blah. They think that because they don't know me as a person.
No.
Once you know me as a person, you know how sensitive I am, how in touch I am with society and people in general.
Yeah,
I'm always that dude who will start those talks with my mates.
For sure, you
general. Like guys like Rennie and Ogre and Bobcat and Sonny. I'm like, you Willie Tonga. We've all had our issues, man. And I'm like, I'll be the first one. You good? Like, you good? Nothing about footy. Footy's nothing to us now. Like, it's just like we want to try and help the next generation just be better people, be more in touch with what's going on in the world.
And the other thing as well, Will, it's people need to understand that footballers, when they're in that football environment, they are obviously extremely close. When you're in a team and a team environment, you're super close to the blokes you're playing with, but you've got friends outside of that as well that are non-footballers and don't live their life in the spotlight. And, it's hard because you look at everybody's got pressure in their life, regardless what that pressure is. The thing that I've always not resented or whatever, but when you live in the spotlight, everything that you do is on show to the public, right? And so I look at this whole thing with Ricky Stewart over the last week, and what's been lost in that is that Ricky Stewart's a coach. He made a mistake, and the pile on him. So we talk on one hand about, well, Paul Green,
Let's be more sensitive and all that kind of stuff.
And then Ricky Stewart comes out and says something that's obviously deeply personal and unrelated to football. What he did was unrelated to football. And the bloke gets sat in the naughty corner for a week. And, I just think if you're going to be fair dinkum about the whole thing.
Yeah, don't just have this one little, I think draw a line in the sand right now, and men have got to speak. This is a worldwide problem. This ain't just an NRL problem. Men need to speak. And I've always had mates like you. If I ever had any issues, I could tell you. I could tell other people other than football players. Plus, I would tell my mates. But that's just my personality.
Yeah.
That is just me. I got to get something's on my chest. I got to fucking tell someone. If I'm feeling down, all that kind of stuff. I don't have those problems. I can't relate to people with mental disorders and depression and anxiety, but I understand. I try and understand. You know what I mean? Like I do understand, and like I can't relate or anything like that. So I feel the same, but I listen. I understand. I try and, change their mindset a little bit, just a little bit. Like I don't sit there and try to just toughen up. Or they've got to get out of that fucking bullshit
Just
mode.
get over it.
Get over it, mate, and toughen up. She'll be right. Just get a lot. Nah, man, you got to deal with your problems, man. The thing is, like, a lot of players don't know how to compartmentalize. That's something that I was really good at as a player and as a person. Soon as whatever's happened in my home life, I don't give a shit. I leave it there. I get in the car, go to training. Bang, it's all about training. I get in the car, deal with whatever's going home. I don't bring home to train. I don't bring training to home. That's how I've always done that.
Yeah.
And then I get on the field, I do the business, off the field, I come back off, and it's just normal life again. That's me speaking. A lot of players can't do that. They ride the highs too high. They hit the lows too low. They never stay in the middle. That's all I try and educate these young kids about, because this fucking game is a roller coaster and it will swallow you whole if you stay up here too much or if you stay down here too long. You got to somehow enjoy the highs, respect the lows, and just go, all right, this sucks, and then get back into the middle. Talk to your mates, talk to your friends, talk to your coaches. That's why a lot of clubs are implementing more mentors, people like me being in the club who they can actually talk to. I think every single club should have a 24/7 psychologist on call. In case, I just think they should have that, because every club does have a club psych. They do, because if you got, I got sent to the psych a heap of times when I was younger. So they do have that. So I think it should be not in the office or anything like that, but because it is a man's sport, and like we're cut from a different cloth. You know what I mean? They're not. And if you show these and players that get taught, you don't really show weakness. You don't show that you're fatigued. You don't show that you're suffering or anything like that. So that's built into your fucking brain from 15 years old.
Yeah.
So. And then you're getting taught by the older players, you got to do this, this, this. And so you're in this bubble all the way to in your 20s and then in your 30s. So you just build this shell around you. So if you don't talk to anyone else, you might implode. Do you know what I mean? So I think clubs need to really implement something where there's a 24/7 on-call psychologist, because you're not going to talk to the coach, you're not going to talk to your senior players, because you don't want to show weakness.
You don't want to get dropped.
You don't want to get dropped because I don't feel that good, because you fucking pussy. That's what the game's like. This is the dog eat dog world. You know what I mean? Everyone's trying to vie for these NRL positions. Everyone wants to be an NRL player. And this is those little insecurities that these young kids have. If you have them, deal with them when you're young. Don't be scared. And I just don't think they have the opportunity, even if you're a 17, 18-year-old, they don't have the opportunity to go, they won't ask the coach, I'm having a few problems, because they don't feel comfortable enough, because the coach will be thinking you're weak.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they try and filter out all the mentally weak people by the time he's 17, 18. So they want these dudes that are hardcore killers.
Yeah.
Not literally, but dogs, big dogs. You know what I mean? I want this is not fucking lawn bowls.
When
this
the
is
game
rugby
gets
league.
hard,
When it gets hard, do I want you to mentally break? No. So they've got to get away from that stigma, because you can have both. You can have a sensitive dude who's in touch with his feelings, having a few little mental problems, but he'll still fuck you up on the weekend, because that's what happens. You can have those dudes. Well, I've played with a lot of guys like that.
One thing that you've been really good with, so my young bloke is 12, and he watches highlights of you or whatever, and it's really hard for him to reconcile Uncle Willie with the bloke he sees on the field. And what I remember once you said to him, we were in the car going somewhere, and you said to him, mate, when you step over that white line, you got to be a different person. And then as soon as that game finishes and you come back, you shake hands, you hug. They're not your enemies, they're your friends, And he's always remembered that. And I think one thing for me is the kids today coming through in their early 20s and whatever, social media is such a big thing. And I think if you have a bad day at work, which is essentially what these blokes are doing, if you have a bad game, you have a bad day at work, and then you got thousands of people on the internet telling you you're the worst player of the world, and that, like, you've got to have things around that, because that's not going to stop, right? That's never going to stop. So either you learn to deal with it and you go, all right, well, people that I don't know about, their opinion doesn't matter, which you've been real good at your whole career, but then there's times where you go, well, if it does get to you that much, that's where you have to remove yourself from social media, And
that's the thing. I mean, like, the 80s and 90s, no social media. You just played the game. You went on your merry way. No one knew what you were doing before the game. No one knew what was happening after the game. It was a mystique about the NRL and the 80s and stuff like. You might see these guys in the pubs. That's about it.
Yeah.
Who cares? 2022, I mean, in the last, just say 10 years, bang, I know what Kalyn Ponga is listening to on Spotify before the game. I know what he's, that's how much they, because of the CBA, because of the CBA, they have every right to the players.
They want access.
Before, when I started playing, there was no access to the sheds. This is 2000, mind you. It was only 22 years ago. They had no access to the sheds, but, the salary cap was fucking $3 million. So, it wasn't $10.1 million like it is now. So they wouldn't access to the sheds, and there wasn't any access to the warm-up. There wasn't nothing, no access when you walked in. And then obviously the CBA, your collective bargaining agreement, we just kept getting more money, and then more money, more exposure. And you know what I mean? And then you don't have anything, then all of a sudden Twitter, Instagram, all that sort of shit started.
Because in those days...
And then because Channel 9 was the only sort of big dog, you know what I mean? Like, and Fox wasn't played live, all that kind of stuff. Now it's every team, every live, every game, everything's on TV. You see him coming off the bus, you see him at the warm-up, you see him, like before the game, the 2-minute bell, this, come out. You can just sit here. I mean, that's why we watch the game on TV, because you see more than you do at the game.
Yeah.
But it's the exposure. If you can't block out the external noise and just concentrate on football, which I know it's hard, but this is the education that clubs need to be giving these young kids. You've got to be able to do it. If you don't do it, if you can't do it, it's going to end up eating you alive. It'll chew you up and spit you out because you can't deal with some person saying, you played shit. You're a fucking dog. You're this, you're that. I don't fucking conduct the racism shit. Don't cop it. I'll fucking chase you around the world to get you. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But anything else, if you're going to try and come at me, you can't. I don't give a fuck about you. You live in your mum's basement. That's what I think of that when I'm writing to someone on Twitter. I'm like, for me to write something on someone's, just say, if I follow LeBron James and I think he played bad, like for me to even think, for me to go, right, you're not clutch. What sort of person are you? Yeah. You're the biggest, lowest piece of shit on the earth. You live in your mum's basement, you haven't achieved anything in fucking life, and that's all you've got is to sit here in your armchair and watch me play on the field, and you have the audacity to even bag any of us. You gotta have, if you have that mindset, you'll think they're like a little fucking kid.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? What was that movie with Waterboy, when he looked at the coach and he looked at the Waterboy and the coach was a little baby, it's a baby. It's a little baby. That's the way I look at things on Twitter when people fucking coming at me. I'm like, you're a fucking loser. You know what I mean? Like, just because I put myself in that position to go, would I ever comment on anyone's Instagram or anything, unless it was a joke and I'm taking a piss out of all you blokes.
Yeah.
And that's fucking fun. But like to a person that I don't know and like write some real personal shit saying, you fucking this, derogatory racism, all that kind of stuff. I'll be like, I must be the lowest piece of shit on earth. Don't take that as a soundbite either.
Straight on social media.
That's what I think. That's why I have that mentality. I'm just like, dude, I don't need to worry about you. All I care about is my friends, my family. That's it.
Yeah.
If you think I'm a piece of shit, then I'm like, I'll question myself. I'll question how I'm going in life. You said something, Zig. You like, not you, Henry. You know what I mean? Like if you said, mate, you better chill out, man. Like shit's going south. If you keep doing that, done.
Yeah.
Done. Stop it straight away.
Well, it's an interesting point, Will, because like in the old days, if I wanted to know how your weekend went, I'd have to wait until the Daily Telegraph came out on a Monday to read about you on the front page. But now we've got the...
Mason's had a good weekend.
Well, good weekend.
He got front page.
Oh, you had a front page or back page? Front page. You had a piss on the street.
Shit. Okay. Oh, my God. Right. It makes the news. Yeah. It's not sport.
In those days, there wasn't social media, so thank God. But realistically, if you look at... Kalyn Ponga goes to the pub on a Saturday, and by Monday morning, there's photos or video of him at a pub. So that's the immediacy of these things now, where if you make a mistake, so now everyone's piling in on Kalyn Ponga. Now, the best thing about this for me was the fact that no one knows what he was doing in that toilet. No one knows. Like, obviously, people are assuming that he was on the bugle. That's fine. Everyone can assume whatever they want.
Assume whatever you want.
Assume whatever you want.
Prove it.
But he's going to get his drug test done. If he comes back positive, he was on the bugle. If it comes back negative, then shut up. But the best part was his dad coming out with the excuse that, because you can't argue with that. That could be happened. That could literally have happened. I know everyone's going to go, oh,
maybe he's just gone, hey, he's helped Kurt Mann, and like he's spewing up. Yeah, all right. And then like, just fucking toughen up, mate, and gave him a bourbon Coke.
On
and he
the
walked
way
out
in.
with that.
Yeah.
So that'll straighten you up. Maybe that happened. Maybe he was in the toilet vaping because you can't vape outside.
Yeah.
I don't know. Some shit like that because, you know, you can't vape inside. You can vape in the toilet.
Yeah.
You can do what you want. I mean, there's a lot of other things. Everyone, I was very interested watching mainstream media and the characters on all mainstream media to see if they were going to ostracize this kid and just drag him through the coals, but they can't.
Well, the thing is,
because they don't know. And I don't think they want people following them around the toilets either.
Yeah, that's right.
Because I'll be fucking pissing myself because I'm not sure what the game needs. I mean, now they're trying to discredit his leadership. And I spoke to KP during the week. I said, I'm going to fucking stick up for you. And he categorically denies that he took anything. So I believe him.
Yeah.
I believe him. So that's it. Done in my eyes. And now they're just piling on. I think I watched 360 last night for a little bit when they had fucking Gorgeous Crawley on and Riccio and Braith and PK. And they just started questioning, started hammering his game. They started hammering his game and his leadership and his captain skills. And that's all they could say because they're not going to say anything else because they're shitting themselves.
Well, it's for me, it's the innuendo. Like if you're going to accuse a bloke,
just fucking
say it. Just say he was in the coke. He was in the.
But they have
cubicle,
no proof. I mean,
they're
going to test him now and just say with the NRL rules. I'm not sure if people understand. If it's your first strike, no one knows.
Yeah.
Second strike, then your name gets put in the paper. Then they name you. So these guys might have a strike, say no one will know. And just say it's 4 or 5 days post. It should be out of his system.
He's clear anyway. So
you know what I mean? So I'm just thinking, I don't know. I think it should be just. I mean, I'm not even going to question that kid's talent, his captaincy skills, his leadership. Kid's young. He's had head knocks for the last couple of years. Hasn't been fit the last couple of years. We haven't seen peak Ponga. We've seen him in Queensland jersey. People don't understand. I expect him to play that good in a Queensland jersey. Don't try and discredit him and say he only plays good in Queensland. Fucking Knights are awful. Don't get it twisted. And if you're game planning against the Knights, where's Ponga? You just put an extra man there because you want a Clune or fucking that other kid, Clifford, to run the ball. We'll just put another man next to. And these journos who just try and hammer his game, mate, the kid's had a good year when he's on the field.
Yeah.
He's played 14, he's finished 7. And that's because of head knocks and injuries. This is what happens in the game, today's game. He's been getting head knocks. Let's just look after your kid. And I don't think it wasn't a good look, him being out for head knocks, being on the piss.
Yeah, that's right.
That's a terrible look.
Yeah.
You live in Newcastle. I'm from fucking Newcastle. They'll tear holes in you.
Well,
they want him on the field because he's out for the rest of the year. That's the only thing that is a bad look in my eyes. Obviously, fucking two blokes walking into the Brasco's like, bloody hell. I don't know what if they need a social sort of person coming around instead of these fuckheads telling them unrealistic shit when the NRL comes around. Tell them some real shit. Hey, if you're going to do dumb shit, have some bloke outside the toilet watching out for someone who's coming in. I don't know, just do things like that. Look after your mate. If there's two blokes going in, just have a little bit of fucking street smartness about you. Common sense, you dumb fucks. Do you know what I mean? Don't go in there.
Or don't do it in public.
Or don't do it in public. Do it. I don't give a shit. I'm not condoning drugs. I don't give a fuck what you do. But there's ways that you just don't get caught.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like when we talked about Brandon Smith and Munster last year. The guy's got a phone pointing that shit at you. Looking like, come on, kids. You just got to be a little bit smarter. You don't walk into the toilets too and then think no one's fucking saw you. It's Newcastle. You guys are rock stars up there. You're Kalyn Ponga. You're a rock star wherever you go. Man should have had his eyes fucking up. As soon as he walked out, saw that fuckhead with the phone, ran to him, got the phone, erased the footage, smashed it on the fucking ground, whatever he did. That's the worst thing that could happen. Then there's no footage.
What is wrong with
I don't care. All they would see was there's these weak fuckers out there all the time that want to just get their little. I don't know what it is. It's the most pathetic shit in the world. Of course they fucked up because I think the rules are you can't have two people in a cubicle at once.
Yeah.
Apparently, I didn't even know that rule. But I just think you got to be a little bit smarter. If you're going to do dumb shit, be a lot smarter because all this shit could have been easily non-existent. We shouldn't even be talking about it. You know what I mean? If you're fucking street smart, if someone puts the camera near me, if I'm even sitting in a pub or doing anything, I'm fucking walking straight up to him and going, what are you doing? You film me? You want a photo? Do you want something like that? You know what I mean? Don't film me like that.
Yeah.
You just got to be a little bit smarter. And then I think that's just all education. You just got to keep it real. These kids are doing this shit. They're doing it. They're doing fucking whatever, illicit drugs. They do it. It's 2022. It's not the fucking 80s.
It's a societal problem.
It's
too.
it's a societal problem. You just got to go. These guys are out injured. The worst thing they did was go out and get on the piss because they're going to come back. They're going to be not positive. So what's the story then?
Trouble follows failure, right? So if you look at the way the Knights are, they've had all that blow up with Clemmer and the trainer with Hayden Knowles. You've got all of the stuff that, with Adam O'Brien and the pressure he's under. And then you've got Bradman Best and Anari Tuali stood down because they were allegedly late for a bus. And I understand Peter Parr's come in. They've obviously done it more than once, offenders, Yeah. So if you look at that and you go, as a club, when you're done under the pump like that,
you don't have any excuses.
Just do not stick your head up.
Yeah. I mean, that from Bradman Best and that, they should have known better. Like when you're under the pump and, like you're getting beat and you got to do all the little 1%ers that, Peter Parr's really great at that. And he was, he stood him straight down. Peter Parr's a great guy. He's a legend, good friend of mine. So he's just gone, And the thing is, I think someone said, hit him in the sky, hit him in the pocket. That'll hurt him.
No,
fuck no. Playing reserve grade. Obviously, these guys have never played first grade at all. The worst thing you can do is if you're a star player, playing fucking reserve grade when you're a first grader.
Unless
that
it's the
hurts you
Newtown
more.
Jets.
That hurts you more. Exactly. It's more embarrassing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, don't think, it hurt him in the pocket. No, it won't fucking hurt him in the pocket. We're going to fine him like $5,000.
Yeah,
Who gives a shit? These kids are on like fucking massive coin. You're embarrassing these kids. Like, they obviously don't know because they're journos and they fucking never played rugby league at all, and they've never been dropped from an NRL team. So hit him in fucking. You're not going to fine him $50,000 for being late for the bus. It's max $500 or $1,000.
Yeah, that's not.
And that should help. That should be, if they had good leadership up there, that should be from the leadership group.
So the other news, I guess, that's probably relation to you is that Cameron Ciraldo has been announced as the head coach of the Bulldogs for a 5-year term.
Good,
mate. There must be a pretty good feeling around the club at the moment in terms of both results that we were taking outside last week, but taking, the signings that they've made, the form of the current squad, Ciraldo coming on board. There must be a really positive vibe coming, isn't there?
Yeah, there's good buzz. I mean, I speak to Gus pretty often and have meetings with him, and this was on the cards like 3 months ago. 3 months ago when I had a chat with him, we sat down and. This was his main objective, was to get Ciraldo. He's got massive raps on him. Ciraldo's done his apprenticeship. He's brought those young kids up like the Crichtons, the Totos, the Luais, Fisher Harris, Kickow. Half that squad come through his system. So they hold him in high regard. Very well respected. Knows the footy. Student of the game. That's coming from Gus. Gus loves him. You know what I mean? So he's obviously the next best thing. He's been in the game 5 or 6 years, and he just everything that I've heard is top shelf. Everything about him. He's just very just a little nuances and variables about the game that people don't really understand. I'm not going to go into it, but he understands all that kind of stuff. So it'll be exciting to work with him. It'll be good.
And players like him from
players like he's a player's coach.
Yeah,
it's half your battle. You know what I mean? Like if you're someone struggling, he's not that person just going to drop you. Just he'll explain why you dropped. This is what good coaches do. They explain why you dropped, go back, got to work on this, and get yourself back up.
Yeah.
And he has that sort of respect out at Penrith, and hopefully, it's a different job now. He's the big dog.
Yeah,
he's the big dog at a premier blue chip club. Even though we've been down for a couple of years, this is still one of the best clubs in the NRL.
Yeah.
And he's at the helm. So it's a big responsibility for him. He's ready to go, and as I said, he's done his 5 or 6 year apprenticeship, and it'd be exciting. I'm looking forward to actually meeting him. I mean, I know him, but I've only known him when we're playing against each other and all that kind of stuff. Didn't know him as a coach and all that kind of stuff. So I'll have to be calling him coach, I think. Hey, coach.
You got to be nice to him.
You good, coach?
Got to be nice to him. He still needs a job, Cameron. Make sure he's still in the pathways. Well, speaking of pathways, actually, there was a big, not a big thing, but Paul Gallen and Phil Gould had a bit of a discussion, let's call it, last night on one of those pods. What was it? 100% footy, which I don't watch, but Henry kindly showed me. Basically what they were arguing about is Phil Gould mentioned that the Roosters are a good development club. Paul Gallen said that they're not because they buy kids in, he was saying 16, 17, but they actually buy them younger than that. They buy them for Harold Matthews. But Paul Gallen his point was these kids are developed by the time they get to the Roosters system, and Phil Gould's point was that players are nowhere near developed at that stage, the club then takes them from that point to be professional footballers. And I can see what Paul Gallen's saying, because the Roosters, I can speak to this because obviously my son played in the Roosters juniors, and they've only got 3 teams and whatever. I understand they don't have the junior players, but their junior development pathway is still good. And then when they get to the point where they get to have to play against, they play gala days against Balmain and all these other sides that have got such huge nurseries and such strong players, the Roosters may as well not play in those games unless they strengthen their under 15s. And that's what they do.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I think Gal's got a little bit twisted because, like, you know, the whole stigma with the Roosters and, you know, players like us, they buy the best 17, 18-year-old and then, like, ruin every, you know, and then he's already developed. No, you're not developed at 17, 18-year-old. You're just touted as that next big thing. You still got a lot of work, about 2 or 3 years, but they even go deeper and they get that 15, 16-year-old.
Yeah, they do.
And they have a little nursery up north, and then they have a little nursery down here. They fly them up there. They do still school up there. They fly them back down here. I know a couple of really good centres that I was watching this year. They do all these because these guys still play union. They play league.
Yeah.
You know, but they're the best 15, 16-year-olds. But when they decide to come back down here, they're not fully developed.
No,
they're nowhere near developed.
No.
Then the work comes in. Then they've got to get through the pathways and then into Robbo's system. So it's a good 2 or 3 year of learning your craft.
Unless you're a freak.
Unless you're a freak like a Suwali.
Suwali.
And then this Suali'i.
Suali'i.
And then so when you're bringing a 15, 16-year-old kid down, which they don't really like doing because it's too early.
Yeah.
16, 17, 18, that's when they might bring him down, and then they'll still have a couple of years in Jersey Flag, earn your stripes to get up into the first grade. But there's a lot of 2 or 3, 4 years of development into that young kid, and then they come through the system.
Yeah.
They, you know, like, because, you know, everyone thought, you know, they don't develop juniors, they just buy juniors. Yeah, they do. They buy all the best juniors because there's no fucking people playing around the eastern suburbs.
No.
Is there?
No.
There's too many things to do.
Yeah.
You
Well,
know,
and
so
also, it's just when you look at,
it's just not one of those places.
You don't have
You're
a
not going to have.
nursery
You're
for
not going to
it.
go
You're
down to Bondi and go, it's the next big thing. You're going out to Mount Druitt. You're going up to Logan. You're going up north into Queensland. You're going to all these little hotspots, Newcastle, all that kind of stuff. You're going there and you're finding the best kids. And that's what they do. Clubs are just jealous because they do it good.
and they've been doing it for a long time.
They've been doing it for a very long time.
So even when I was coming through,
Gal got a little bit
they
twisted,
were-
and then Gal would have been going, "Oh, you buy competitions, yeah," and then they can fucking buy who they want as well.
Yeah.
That's the way that they develop. Penrith is a breeding ground for rugby league players. Everybody wants to be a Penrith Panther now because of the success they've had and because of the culture that they've built. It's a production line. They're getting all these players from Dubbo. Why are they the guys getting people from Dubbo? Like Liam Martin from Dubbo or somewhere out there. Burton and fucking Isaiah Yeo, all Origin players. We're going to be test players this year.
Is there,
And that's in the last 5 years.
There's
Like-
no salary cap underneath, is there? Like you can throw as much as you want at young, like your developments.
I think they do. I mean,
Is there? I don't know.
I think there is a cap with those younger kids.
There is.
Yeah. You can't go out there and just throw 500,000 at a kid.
No, but I mean, in terms of how many kids, like if you found,
no. You can have 50 kids.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's what most inner city suburbs like. That's what the Bulldogs have been doing for something.
$5,000 for a kid.
But they've been doing. They're giving them $1,000
Yeah,
to be a
Jersey.
part, and the kids are nowhere near that level.
Yeah.
But because they're playing the percentage game, let's just try and get 100 kids and just throw your net out, and we
see
might
who
get
works.
one or two.
Yeah.
It's not how it works. You got to have grassroots. You got to have these. You got to have a footprint. We've got a footprint in Toowoomba. You know, we've got a footprint. You know, in Bundaberg now. You know, you got to put all these places around. Plus, you got to have good development scouts.
Yeah.
They got to be around like 24/7 looking for players because there's talent. There's that next Fafita. There's the next Payne Haas. There's the next Sonny Bill somewhere. You just got to unearth. You got to be in New Zealand. Like, mate, how many years? Sonny Bill, Roy Asatasi, Matt Utai, all these sort of guys come from New Zealand. It was just like, it was ridiculous. You know, it's a nursery over there, you know, because you got to get the guy, you know, they got two of us a Shek, and we still grab from New Zealand, but I think we could probably grab more.
Such a talented
You know,
country.
it's just
Really
talent
is.
everywhere. They play union, they play league. So, I don't know. Development is a hard thing. Grassroots, I mean, obviously because I learn off Gus and he tells me a lot of things and how it is and how the Roosters do their thing, where the Bulldogs need to get to a place where we're either buying the best juniors like the Roosters are, and then we get to a certain level where we can develop them. Yeah. So when we get the best 15 or 16-year-old kid, 17-year-old kid, put them in the system, let them come through the system, get people like me, Bobcat, people like, you know, around them, cultivating those young kids, making them grow, installing that Bulldogs culture into them when they come through the grades like we come through, then you have that different love for the club, you know, and then instead of buying mercenaries that don't give a shit, they're here for a little stopover and then fuck off overseas.
Yeah.
That's what you get. And so you don't have a genuine love for the club. So you're not really worried about playing for the club. You worry about your stats. You worry about all these other things, trying to get a deal overseas.
Yeah.
And that's the position we put ourselves in. But now we're on the way up.
Yeah, that Cameron, he's got it covered in the pathways development. It's all set. You don't have to change that bit, one bit. Just leave it to Will. One last thing, speaking of overseas, Corey Norman, finger up the blurter. Not a good look. Not a good look.
I had to read that twice.
What possesses a bloke, honestly? Like, and don't say to me he didn't mean to do it, because he genuinely, he reached around, he found it, he just went bang, and then he got up laughing. So
is he playing in the Super League, or is he in the second tier?
He's playing for Toulouse.
So they're in the Super League.
They went up, yeah.
Yeah, he's in the Super League. It's televised.
There's a lot of cameras.
There's a shitload of cameras.
To get.
And like you do shit like that, if you're reaching around and doing stuff, I mean, have you heard of a guy called John Hopewadi? You know what I mean? Hopper's like, I mean, he's made a thing of it, and he takes a piss out of himself. But dude, that's only one person who could do that.
Yeah.
And I was playing in that era too. It was fucking weird. Remember you got weird. Travis Norton? Texas just jumped straight out. But that's weird from Corey Norman, because he normally still got did he do it more than once or just once?
No, I think it was just the once. I think they'd had a bit of a running battle, and then I think the bloke went straight. Like, you don't make that up. You know what I mean? You're on the field and you go, excuse me, sir, a bloke's just put the old digit up the blurt. You go, I'm going to believe that bloke, because that's not.
It's not in the game.
It's like if someone says they've grabbed your nuts. I remember, like, you're on the field and they'd be like, you grabbed my balls. You're like, you don't make that up. Like,
remember Corbin Sims grabbed my balls when I was in Manly?
That was also televised.
It was like a tap. It was a tap. It was a love
gentle.
Tap.
That was cupping.
You just went like that.
It was cupping.
I looked at him and said, "Calls, like, lads, Calls, what are you doing? It's on TV." He just fucking laughed, because we just do some dumb shit at training.
You got blood in it. I saw.
But did you see my reaction? Not one reaction.
No.
Because I didn't want to get him in trouble.
No.
If I oh my God, you know, because Corbin's my boy. I love Corbin. I don't even going to tell everyone what everyone did at training. Just like, that was just a dumb thing. You know, blokes just like, bang, you hit you on the nuts. Like, guys do that still. It's stupid. But don't do it on fucking Channel 9 and it's the NRL. This is not local league. It's getting filmed, bro. And I said, what are you doing?
You'd laugh less
laugh.
if he licked the
thumb. Yeah, I was just like, but like, yeah, doing that shit that Corey Norman's doing, I don't know what he's thinking. Is he trying to get sacked?
Maybe he's had enough for France.
Fuck. Swap you.
Well, we have reached the stage of the season, William, where half of these games do not matter for shit at all, but we will still mention them. Rabbitohs Panthers. The Rabbitohs are on a tear. The Panthers are on a slide.
Is Latrell playing?
What?
I wouldn't. He's been named, but I don't think he's playing.
He's not playing.
So that fucking
changes
it back.
That changes
because I know he's a little bit of a groin strain this week, maybe from kicking.
Is he officially out, Henry? Or
he's named, but I honestly don't think he'll play. That'll bring it back really, really close.
That'll destroy.
Is Fisher Harris?
Coaches.
Fisher Harris is back.
No, he's still suspended.
Dylan Edwards back.
Yeah, he's playing.
Well, they lose. They're gonna miss him. Crichton's playing. They've still got a decent team.
If Latrell, I'll change my tip.
I'm swapping the Panthers.
Yeah, if Latrell's not playing, be a good game though. That's the Thursday night.
I just want Latrell to play. He's box office, man.
Yeah,
he's that dude you just want to watch. I'm like, fuck, like, and
especially
Turbo was like that as well. Like,
yeah.
he's on one. You know what I mean? I'm like, he's on that Jared Hayne 2009 vibe.
Groins are tricky too. They're just one of those things.
Well, I want him because it'll stop him from going 100%.
He can't run.
If
it's tweaked, it's different. But
I know they're pushing for that top 4 spot.
Yeah.
I don't know if his presence is enough to be out there and just to warrant them a win. But I've given props to like guys like Totola and their middles have been absolute animals. Cameron Murray, Cook, Arrow, outstanding. Sele, like all these guys. But he's the biggest loss.
Could be one of those ones. Remember when GI did his knee and they kept him out there the whole second half? He couldn't walk.
Yeah, needed a knee Rico.
He had to hold the season.
Yeah,
up.
Uncle Rico.
That was good. The Cowboys against the Warriors. Biggest news for the Warriors camp is that bloke that does the shoeies, he had a life ban reversed, which is good news.
Why would they do that? Hasn't he been around for ages doing that?
Yeah.
He's got sponsors on his shoes and that now.
Oh, no.
He's fucking...
Get that dollar.
He's monetizing it.
Get that dollar.
That's probably what they don't like.
What do they call him? Roger
Tuivasa.
Shuey
Beck or something like Shuey Vasa.
Good on him. That's at Queensland Country Bank Stadium. So the Cowboys will win that. The Broncos against the Storm. That's actually Broncos. I don't know.
They need a good win.
They do need a good win. They need to beat someone.
It's at Suncorp, Storm. They still haven't got Hughes.
No, Hughes is back.
Is Hughes back
Hughes
already?
Is back. Yeah, he was only 1 week off.
What a freak. Well, that changes everything.
But what do you like? Do you like Munster at fullback?
Yeah, he's
I
a
like
gun,
it.
mate.
He's a freak.
He just play football, man. You put him anywhere. He's just a gun.
He just wants more times he touches the ball.
Now, because he's usually predominantly on the left side of the field, left arm carry, right palm, all that kind of stuff. So, like, I want him to attack both sides of the ruck because if you're a left side defender, you're like, you know, Munster ain't coming near you unless he skips across the other side of the ruck.
No.
But when if he's around the back and he's catching those balls and because his skill level is so high, man, I reckon because he played fullback before.
Yeah,
he
for sure.
A heap of fullback.
He started as a fullback.
So because Widdop left and all that kind of stuff, then he had to step in.
Yeah, I think he's more damaging at fullback. Yeah, well, they had Slater, that sort of.
Pappenhausen.
The Eels against the Bulldogs. If Cameron Ciraldo's watching this, Willie tips the Bulldogs every week, even when they were getting pumped by 100 before Trent Barrett got sacked. He's still stuck solid. That's got to count for something when you're doing contract negotiations.
I want him to beat Parramatta there because we smacked him last time. It was at Acor, and it was embarrassing.
Yeah,
and obviously they're going to be looking for a little bit of a revenge. We'll be embarrassed by what happened last week against the Warriors over there, getting 42 put on us.
Well, Paris should be embarrassed after last week.
I know, 26-0. So it could be one of those games. I mean, this is a rival game. If you can't get up for this game if you're a Bulldog, get out of the club.
Manly against the Sharks. Manly are legless. That is just...
Jake Trbojevic broke his hand. Hopefully he's good for the World Cup.
I don't know. I don't know what to say about Manly. If you had to look up implosion under the dictionary, then there'd be a photo of that Manly rainbow jersey in the dictionary because everything has just fallen to shit from them. But anyway. Roosters, Tigers. William? That is a game.
$9.
Yeah, the
Tigers. And $1.07 the Roosters.
God. I reckon the Roosters...
I think the Tigers will get up for it.
Well, I mean, even if they get up for it, they'll still get pumped. But I look at...
Roosters are good. They're on.
They're on. Lodge has stiffened that middle up. He's been the signing, like the mid-season signing of the year.
He's been the trade, man.
He gets the Dally M
trade.
Mid-season signing of the
year.
Yeah.
Loan, signing or something?
I think he's a signing. If the Roosters don't sign him long-term, though, I will be very surprised.
10-year deal.
Yeah, 20. No overseas trips. The Dragons...
You're not going to New York, Lodge.
You're never going back. The Dragons and the Titans don't care. I think the Titans win that.
Yeah, I do too.
Dragons look crook.
Raiders are still in with a chance, so...
Raiders can still make the 8, can't they?
Yeah, mathematically.
They're only 2 points behind, so...
Well, that's what I said, mathematically.
Okay.
Henry, fucking check, man. One job.
They can finish 5th.
They can finish 5th for the win. Well, 2 wins. Yeah, so mathematically. Yeah. Houston effect,
Willie's Big Boys.
All right, the big boys were at it again. Our boy Lodge, who we just mentioned, I thought he was outstanding. It's about time. I think we've got some new faces on here for the 3-2-1 votes or 1-2-3, whatever you want to call it.
The 1-6.
So my first vote, only because his stats were ridiculous, but I mean the Bulldogs. They were way off. But, I mean, like Aiden Fanua-Blake, I'm just going to read out a couple of stats here. 54 minutes in the middle, 18 hit-ups, 202 metres, 88 post-contact, 18 tackles, no misses. You know what I mean? Like 100% efficiency. So that's 1 point to AFB. He played outstanding. 2 points to our boy Matt Lodge because he played outstanding against the Cowboys. I know they had a hard week, everything like that, but they still got a fucking gun pack. You know what I mean? They've got a formidable pack. He was ripping out.
He was a beast.
51 minutes, 19 hit, 153 metres, 58 post contacts, 21 tackles, no misses, no nothing. You know what I mean? Like it's just that's unbelievable. So you're talking 95 to 100% effective tackling there. But my 3 points go to the big man from the Rabbits, simply because I actually rate Parramatta's forward pack. I think they're high, they're aggressive, they do everything. The stats from Junior Totola are 44 minutes, 16 hit, 208 metres, 97 post-contact metres. Come on, 23 tackles, no misses. Like that, I always say about South, I said it for the last couple of years, if their middles dominate and you can ignite Cook into the game and you get off the back of Cam Murray's quick play the balls, which he has been doing, the little tip-ons around the ruck, he was just making metres after metres after metres and great metres. A little bit of an offload here and there, but that's the only way South can make a big run for this. If Junior Totola, you're going to get big Tommy Burgess back, and you've got I think Hame Sele, the other prop, mate, and Jai Arrow, Cam Murray. Like, you're going to have Campbell Graham come back. You're going to have all these other players pushing for spots. They're going to be hard to beat. They're going to be really hard to beat. Latrell doing his thing, Cody Walker finding fire. I mean, it's coming together good. It looks like a deep run, but Junior Totola and those middles have the biggest job. In the last couple of years, the reason why they've been getting beat by Melbourne and the Roosters in the preliminaries is because they've been outplayed in the middle.
I don't think it's no surprise that since Junior Totola has jumped out of the ground as a player,
they've started to
South
fucking kill it. And he's had the talent.
Yeah,
but
he's been
it takes a
huge
while.
the last
This
few weeks.
is his fifth year. And, that's when the props usually start finding their feet. So he's probably the form prop in the whole game at the moment. So well done.
And proving the big boys basically shows that the Roosters and the South have probably got the two most dominant middles at the moment, and they're the sides that are coming home.
Yep.
So
they're going to be hard to beat.
It's big boys. It's big boys. It's all big boy season. So that means Taumalolo's in front still, Fisher Harris, Paulo, and Morgan
Campbell
Harper.
Gillard.
Morgan Harper's third. So last week, the producer won, didn't he, last week? Or was that the week before?
Was I close last week? If Katoni Stagg scores, because he was my anytime try scorer, because
You had Cobbo.
I had Cobbo and I had Alex Johnson, but the Broncos won 13 plus, and who else did I have?
Oh, you picked
Fucking
the
Cowboys. God damn it. I was thinking, I just didn't know my other bet. But I was blaming Stags all week. I was about to write a really, really, angry email letter. A calligraphy pen. Handwritten calligraphy pen to you, Katoni. Yeah, fuck.
With a quill.
All right, that's with a quill.
Remember
last week? A quill.
Remember last week? You were just sitting on the couch going,
I tossed up.
anytime try score.
I
and
tossed that up.
I was like, and then they all scored.
I was just like, Cobbo scored. Oh, pass the ball to Stags. Give it to Stags. Fuck Stags. Anyway.
All right, so we're still over 2 grand. So I have gone. I've gone the Rabbitohs equal 3.5 minus 3.5. Right. Henry. One job. Raiders, Roosters 13 plus, Eels and Storm, which is paying the princely sum of $6.38.
Right.
William,
I think I can read mine out.
Yeah, it's not hard this week.
What's that? Rabbitohs.
Yep, head to
head. Who are they playing? So Rabbitohs just to win.
They just have to win.
Rabbitohs just to win head to head.
Unless Latrell.
Murray, I know Latrell. You're killing me, dog. Murray Tuolangi, anytime try scorer. Mike Acevo, anytime try scorer. Daniel Tupou, anytime try scorer. And the Dragons to win, and the Raiders to win.
Yep.
Ooh, that's all right. That'll keep me at home on the weekend.
I hope that gets you some money.
Yeah.
We're starting to run out of time. So the producer has gone.
I'm just going to wait for the last round. I'll just win 10 grand. It's all right.
Rabbitohs, Melbourne Demons. He doesn't even know. They're called the Storm, Craig. They're called the Melbourne Storm. No, that's the Demons in the AFL.
He's going for Demons.
Eels, Western Bulldogs. I wouldn't even know if they're even close to favourites or not.
Western
Raiders
Reds,
and
I think
Sydney
he
Swans.
means.
He went to Western Reds and the Sydney Roosters.
Las Vegas
Swans.
Raiders.
I don't know what's going on with this one. But there's obviously some pretty long odds there because he's got $10.92. So good on you, Craig.
Mine's longer than his. Oh, and the bet as well. You're an idiot, mate. Grow up.
All right, let's go to the tips.
Right.
So
okay, wait. This is. I'm way out here. So I'm going the Rabbits. I'm going the Warriors, the upset. Broncos to beat the Storm. Bulldogs to beat the Eels. Hey, Woogie. Sharks to win. Roosters to win. Titans to win. And the Knights.
I'm taking Souths, unless Charles Mitchell's not playing. Cowboys, Storm, Eels, Sharks, Roosters, Dragons, Raiders. And the producer is going Souths, Cows, Storm, Eels, Sharks, Roosters, Dragons, Raiders. All right, so there are a couple of Twitter questions for you, William. Where are we? Guy, I love Guy from the Adelaide Rams. He is fantastic.
He's good. He's a good egg.
What's the feeling at Belmore? We covered that. The NRL South Australia Grand Final is this Sunday. Eastern Eels and Western Warriors at South Adelaide Bulldogs, Mitchell Park. Canterbury used to sponsor South Adelaide. Keen to revisit.
Fly me down. I love Adelaide.
Adelaide's
so
a good
much
spot.
fun.
The Eastern Eels and the Western Warriors. Do you know what? There's only 2 teams in the comp. They just play the grand final every week. I'm sure they've got a thriving comp down there. You can actually, Guy, let us know how many.
Guy, let us know. Talk to your people and say, if you want a special guest to come down, I'll come down with Ian.
I'm coming.
City of Churches.
Yep.
Love it.
It's this Sunday, though. You got better get.
I'll be in church.
There's lots to choose from. All right, Dan J would like to know, will Tigers get the spoon? If so, should actually Klein sign it to then frame it in the new Centre of Excellence? That's a good question.
What?
So did you see on the West Tigers, poor old West Tigers, they've built this $78 million stadium and then they've put up like all the famous players for the Tigers and this and that. And they got Benji Marshall, and then on Benji Marshall's they say he won a premiership with St George Illawarra.
Are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah, $78 million. They obviously didn't proofread that.
Oh my God. At the Centre of Excellence, the one they did at Concord.
It's now called the Centre of Mediocrity.
Yeah, terrible.
I had a look in it. If that's $78 million, like they've got stuff. They've got a barber in there. You probably would have signed for the Tigers if you could get free haircuts.
I will.
They had like
I'm going to renegotiate with the Dogs and just say, you put a barber in there.
Well, they are, aren't they? They're doing it. Well, they
are doing a Centre of Excellence.
Yeah.
They just signed a deal with this is Gus. He's just a genius. Like I think the club has been trying to do get Belmore Centre of Excellence, or just to do the stadium up, or something like that. Gus has been here for what, 10 months? Already did like a $40-50 million deal with the council.
Yeah, he's good.
We've been trying to do that since '98. Yeah. People who ever been at the helm since '98. I saw the blueprints to try and do Belmore up in '98 when I got there, and they've been button heads with the council. Gus comes, boom, 50 mil. There you go, boys. He's the king.
Because I said the other week I went out to Belmore to see. I watched the pigeon shit on the Willie Mason statue they got out the front now. Belmore's not where I thought it was. So
you don't know where you are. That's you. You are lost, son.
I'd go there. It's nice place. They look like a lot of cafes and that around there. There's a Belmore Hotel.
It is. Belmore's nice, mate.
Belmore Hotel.
Mate, it's all right.
We should go and have a drink.
A waffy chicken. We've got to go there, man. It's the best. Come to a training session. We'll go there.
Yeah, I'll go.
I'm coming to Waffy.
I'm going to
the take is coming.
I'm going to start wearing Bulldogs kit around. Well, do you know what? Now the Bulldogs are on TV and Finn's like, go the Bulldogs.
Good on you, Finn.
Do not stay at that club for too long, please.
Twitter games, we'll be tweeting all week. All weekend. Rate, review. RacingState.com. Get on there. Ask some questions.
Loud. Very loud.
Just do it.
My ears hurt. There we go. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
They'll be following Willie more and more. Back in the NRL is Willie Mason.
I've forgotten how big Willie actually is.
Perhaps the presence of Willie had the Panthers looking at his imposing frame.
I'm a 25-minute man. Oh, you got skill, son.
Uppercut right hand by Big Willie.
Too fancy for you.
You've been listening to The Take with Willie Mason and co-host Ian Byrne. Produced by Craig Trewick, recorded and engineered by Zig Parker of Green Room Sydney, and presented by the Handshake Media Network.